My friends, Soul Tribe reading. I hope you're doing well today. I chose Work Your Light Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell today. I did use one of her decks. I've been using her decks quite a bit recently with these Soul Tribe readings. So I used the Healing Waters one the other day. I also used the Starseed one. This one's called Work Your Light, so I'm curious as to why I chose this one. Maybe you're someone who's thinking about spreading your light or how to get your voice out there. I saw someone comment on my Soul Tribe reading yesterday that said they wanted to be able to do love readings, but they don't like the sound of their voice. I have a hard time texting and communicating, but I will talk about it. So my message to you, that person, whoever you are, is that if you are afraid of your own voice or you don't like your own voice, then you need to, I don't know why I'm hearing the word climatize or acclimate. I don't know why I'm hearing those words. But one thing that I did, because I grew up hating my voice, like I would not be in videos. If someone was recording, I was like no talking. Anyway, the thing that I was gonna mention is that something that you can do is you can actually, if you're thinking about doing, like you specifically said, love readings. So I'm gonna tell you what I did when I started. First of all, when I started speaking online, it wasn't for tarot. The universe had me make like a TikTok account where I did like autistic content, and that's where I truly found my voice before starting tarot. Which I found interesting. It was like a stepping stone, you know? Which is now, I don't share that anymore, that autistic TikTok. But anyway, one thing that I started doing was I started like, you can write down what you want to say. Like you can actually script what you want to say. When I think back to my first TikToks, they sounded very scripted. But desensitize, is that the word that I'm thinking of? Like you need to desensitize yourself to your own voice. So if you hate your voice, your first reaction when you hear your voice is like, you know, because you're not used to hearing your own voice out loud other than when you're speaking, right? I'm talking about recorded voice. So you can desensitize yourself, or whatever the word is that I'm trying to think of, by actually making videos and, you know, listening to them. Or I started making mock readings. And what I mean by that, they weren't mock readings, they were real readings, but I made them with the intent of not posting them. So if you're someone who doesn't like the sound of your own voice, you know, why not grab a tarot card if you're wanting to be a tarot reader? Or if you're not wanting to be a tarot reader, grab just a random book and just sit in front of you don't even have to sit in front of your camera. Just hit record on a voice memo and read yourself a couple paragraphs and then listen to it. I know this sounds silly, but get used to the sound of your own voice. Get used to hearing it. Now when I hear my own voice, it's not weird to me anymore, you know, and I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of, when I channel, I don't remember what I channel. So sometimes when you guys are watching Soul Tribe readings, the first ones to get there, the first ones that are like, yeah, Soul Tribe, I'm actually sitting there watching it with you, like in real time, because most of the time I don't even remember. I sometimes don't remember what I channel. Anyway, you'll get used to hearing yourself talk. You need to get used to hearing the sound of your own voice. Of course, it's uncomfortable if you're not used to it and you've always hated the sound of your own voice. And then, you know, I'm just going to tell you all my tricks. When I was starting tarot, you know, I would use the pause function on my video a lot. So I would, you know, shuffle out cards and then I would pause it and I would look at the cards and I would think about it, so I didn't have the pressure of like doing it on camera. And I would look up the meanings and then I would hit record and so here we have this, and I'd explain what I just read about. And eventually you find your confidence. It's like a muscle. It's like anything is like, that's anything you do to me is like a muscle. Like you can build upon it. You know, you probably won't love the sound of your voice the first time you do it. It may take you months to be okay with hearing your voice. It may take you months to find the confidence to speak freely without pausing and stitching together your videos. Me. I used to get comments like that on autistic TikTok. People are so weird. Like TikTok is just, I don't like it anymore. But like I used to, whenever I would talk publicly on TikTok, I could only speak like 1 or 2 sentences at a time. I would say a sentence, pause, say a sentence, pause, say a sentence, pause, and people would make comments about it. But that was the only way I could do it. If that's what you need to do, that's okay. I see lots of tarot readers who stitch their videos together. Be gentle with yourself. Work it like a muscle is what I'm hearing. Especially with like, I'm not even talking about the sound of your own voice. I'm talking about speaking to people and finding your voice in general. You have to clear that blockage, okay? Especially if you're someone who feels the need to share your voice and like you have that little voice inside of you that's like, I want to do that. I want to do love readings on YouTube. That's your intuition, babe. I don't even know why I'm saying babe. I don't say babe. It's interesting because I randomly called one of my kids this morning babe, and I'm like, I know that some people would look at me and think like, you're such a hippie mom. But like I accidentally said babe to my kid, and I was like, how do you feel about that? I'm like, are you okay with me calling you babe, or does that make you feel uncomfortable? And I'm like, how do you feel about this name? Like just boundaries. I'm trying to respect their boundaries. Anyway, what am I doing? We didn't shuffle a card. Why am I looking in that book? Anyway, you'll find your confidence. Lots of people have told me, lots of people watched me start my channel from the ground up and have said like, I came across one of your old videos the other day and you sound completely different. Anyway, and you just have to, you'll get used to the sound of your own voice. You'll get used to sharing your voice. It's like a muscle. It'll get easier and easier and easier to share your voice. And just like getting over the judgment of others, you guys see it. I still struggle with it, but it does get easier. I'm trying to think of when I started my autistic TikTok. Almost 3 years ago. So like I've been working on finding my voice for 3 years, and it's definitely gotten easier. Again, if you guys like, sometime maybe just for laughs, I'll go back. I don't think you should be comparing yourself to anybody but yourself. I've told you that. Comparing yourself to anybody else is a waste of your time because you're on different timelines, different paths, different journeys, different points of your paths. There's no point comparing yourself to anybody but yourself. But it's so funny to me to go back to that, like the very first videos I made when I, started unmasking from being autistic or whatever. I never used to move my face. So like my videos, like I can't even fake it anymore. One of the first things that happened to me when I like awoke was I started moving my body again, like my face, like I started having facial expressions again. I know that sounds bizarre, but like people would say to me like, why aren't you smiling? Why do you look pissed off? And I never, like this part of my face would never move. It was just like this all the time. Like these never moved. And now I get comments like the comments I get on this frickin', the comments that people leave like, oh, if you use this vitamin, this will really help with those wrinkles. Like, I don't care about my wrinkles. Go away. I never used to have wrinkles because my face didn't move. Anyway, my point is that if I could go back and look at those videos, I've changed so much. I know that where you're sitting right now for some of you feels like you'll never get there, but you will. And someday you'll look back at yourself right now and you'll be like, wow, look at how far I've come. Look at how far I've changed. Again, I never used to move, like, I can't even, it scared people, okay? When I first started unmasking from autism and awakening, and being my true authentic self, it actually scared people that were around me because my face started like making expressions that they had never seen. Anyway, I don't know what the point of all that was, but Soul tribe reading. Oh, the point is sharing your voice and getting your voice out there and desensitizing yourself to your voice. I don't know. I just have to say again, I know I say it every day. I know I tell you guys I love you every single day. But this is like, this part of my day is the one where my soul feels the most uplifted, seriously. So just thank you again. I know I keep saying it. I'm not love bombing you. I really appreciate this soul tribe. So yeah, so I want to encourage anyone who wants encouragement. That's the point of being, a light worker or a healer or whatever it is that you are. I was looking at the different archetypes this morning on Instagram. And I definitely feel like I'm a healer. There's ascendant, there's I couldn't tell you. I just found them all this morning. But there's different types of light workers. I definitely feel like I'm a healer, like an empathic healer. But anyway, and part of, to me, part of light working is spreading that light and encouraging that light in others, not forcing it, but encouraging it. There are some light workers that I come across that are very competitive, that just, to me, that's not, I don't want, you know what, even just saying that, I hate being judgmental about anyone. Anytime a judgmental thought crosses me, I'm like, ugh, stop being judgmental, Kelly. But competitiveness over likes and follows and viewers and money and things like that, that's not authentic. That's not authentic light working, in my opinion. Just my opinion. Doesn't have to be right, doesn't have to be wrong. So, if I would, just don't take what those people have to say to heart, those competitive ones, in my opinion. I don't even know what my point is. Let's get into it. Light workers, working your light, whatever that means to you. Again, I spoke about it yesterday. I speak about it all the time. You don't have to be this to be a light worker. You don't have to be a Reiki master to be a light worker. A light worker is someone who's doing the thing that lights up their soul. So I'm not just talking about, oh, I'm this and I love my job. I'm talking about whatever you do that lights up your soul. So it could be your job, I think I've spoken about it, how I believe there are certain chefs that are light workers because they're doing their soul purpose. Singers, actors, writers, teachers, spiritual advisors. There's so many ways of being a light worker. So if you don't feel like you're a spiritual type of light worker, that's okay, Anyway, again, I don't know what my point is anymore. Let's get into this reading. Let's get into this reading. I just don't know what my point is anymore. Funny, I kept seeing that card while I was talking to you and shuffling. And we also have Starseed coming out, which is, we've got 3 coming out, my friend. And we have Trust the Niggle. And sometimes when I get these cards, I get very nostalgic, because these are the decks that I used when I was I don't know what the heck is going on with me. I went from being this quiet, married workaholic to being this. And for a while, I found a lot of guidance from these decks, these specific Starseed and Work Your Light deck, and the Rose Oracle as well. So anyway, anytime I see these cards, I have a very nostalgic feeling, because I'm kind of, in a way, transported back in time to when I was trying to figure out what it all meant. But this one says Trust the Niggle. And I pulled this when I wanted to get my voice out there and I wanted to be online, and my intuition was telling me, you should put yourself out there. You should, you should try doing readings online for people, even though I didn't have the balls to do it. I'm serious. I pulled this card, Trust the Niggle, and I was just saying that to that person who was saying, you know, they feel like they need to be doing this, they want to be doing this, but fear stops them. Trust that niggle. Anyway. And we have Starseed, what lights you up? Lightworker, what lights you up? And we have Pleiades, is that how you say it? I'm not going to say Pilates because I know that's not it. Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. So maybe you're someone who has a double mission. Maybe you're supposed to do two things, is what I'm hearing. Maybe you're supposed to do, maybe you have two ways of spreading light. But anyway, let's get into it. This is really random, but I just feel like no one else is going to understand this but you guys. I know I mentioned it recently in another reading, but it really does make me sad how people who should be working together and joining forces and being a support to each other and showing each other compassion and humanity are now like working against each other. You know, one of the things that I mentioned that there's some, competitive tarot readers out there, and I immediately like wanted to like, don't judge them. But I think about it a lot. Maybe it's just like the healer in me, but I think about how easily the world could change if we all started lifting each other up instead of pushing each other down and beating each other down. And, I'm thinking of a very specific scenario, which I'm just going to bring up. But recently I saw, a video of a trans woman who makes content about people who are very hateful towards her in public. Like, they'll call her sir, they'll misgender her on purpose, even though, she's presenting as a female. She looks like she's dressed like a female. She's, anyway. People are like, even instead of just asking her pronouns, they're misgendering her. And I recently saw a video of two transgender females who were like reacting to her, and they were saying, well, honey, if you're going to be a transgender female, you better do a better job. You better be talking more feminine, looking more feminine. Why are you hating on people for misgendering you when clearly you're not putting in the work? And it was like just seeing two, like, those are people, in my opinion, that should be building each other up and supporting each other, because there's enough people in this effing world who hate, just, ugh. There's enough people in this world who hate that and are hateful towards that, and there's bullying. And again, I just think a lot about how much easier would it be if we would just all start lifting each other up. And that's what I mean. That's what I love to do. I love to inspire others to shine their light, and to be less judgmental, and I think about soul tribe reading. I'm going to be personal. It makes me think about how much easier life would be if more people were willing to heal and willing to, say, you know what? I had a rough upbringing and it affected the way that I treated you. I'm sorry. Like, let's work on it. Let's talk about it. Instead of just running away from healing. Anyway, I just feel like the world could be so different if there were more light workers, more people spreading light, more people lifting each other up. And that's why I keep doing this. Anyway, again, I just wanted to share that with you because I can talk about that with, my friend, but my friend doesn't understand. Even the thing about the transgender thing, my friend doesn't understand. Anyway, don't know what the point of all that was, but you guys always give me validation that it means something whenever I channel something like that. So I said it all. Again, I just feel like you guys understand in a way that the muggles around me don't. and the rest of the world doesn't. Anyway, let's go to the next part. So I don't know if I'll get more than these 3 cards, but we'll see what Spirit says once I'm done talking. The Pleiadians are a group of star beings dedicated to raising the vibration of the planet and sharing new consciousness through creations and technology. They have been incarnating on Earth since near the beginning of humanity. You are a soul who has a double mission. To grow at I said double, not devil. To grow at a soul level and raise the vibration of the planet. If you have been called to write, speak, or channel, this is your sign to keep doing it. Your work is divinely guided. Of all the souls, Pleiadians are the chattiest. It's funny because I'm not chatty unless I'm spreading light. Then I'm super chatty and I could talk all day long. Pleiadians are the chattiest, so perhaps you have already started channeling some of this work into the 3rd dimension. Thank you for doing your part in the great plan. Your presence and unique light is needed. So listen, if you're sitting at home and you're feeling like, I want to do that, I want to do love readings, that means that your voice needs to be heard. That's why you're feeling that. Someone out there is waiting for your voice. Work, light transmission. I call upon I just said it. Didn't I just say it okay? Pleiadian. There we go. If I think about it too much, my brain short circuits. I call upon Pleiadian consciousness of the highest realms and highest good of humanity to work through me. Let me be a channel for only the purest light of the essence of Source. Let me channel in a way that also serves me. Beautiful. So you could be someone who's meant to raise the vibration of this planet. That's what light workers do. Anyway, it's funny. Again, I was listening to Magnetize Yourself, and she was talking about how people who are awakened and at a higher vibration, even if they aren't pushing it on the people around them, they end up affecting the people around them. The people around them start making small changes for the better because they can't resist that light. Anyway, I don't know why I'm laughing at that. For some reason, I see myself and other light workers. If you guys have, well, first of all, Care Bears, shine. But for some reason, I always, when I think of light workers being born, this is weird, but I always see the Little Mermaid and Ariel when she gets transformed into a human. And there's like light shooting from her feet and fingertips. Anyway, also light shooting from the fingertips of, as I'm talking about light working and how it affects others, I'm getting a download of the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. And when he rises up and is reborn into a human, sorry, I hope I'm not spoiling that movie. Light shoots from his fingertips and his toes. Anyway, so maybe your light has had an impact on someone around you. Maybe you don't even know it, you know? I'm hearing your light affects people. Anyway, trust the niggle. This one is not in alphabetical order, so it always confuses me. So, what is that niggling feeling trying to tell you? Let me show it to you up close. Interesting. I don't know what this card is about, but right away I was seeing, you know, past self, future self, present self, or highest self. Anyway, if you knew you would be supported, what would you do? The universe is conspiring. Keep facing your true north. Your job is not to pave the path, but to simply keep facing your true north and take one step after another. If you do this, you can't go wrong. The universe is conspiring. Don't waver or doubt. Do you know how many people say the universe is conspiring against me? Start saying the universe is conspiring for me. I have to tell you, Soul Tribe reading, I know this, I'm distracting myself from the book. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I am a little sorry. But I'm watching this reality show. It's not a love one. It's called Outlast, and it's about people who go to Alaska and live in Alaska, in the wild, and they have to survive. They're barely given anything. They have to get their own water, their own food. It's like Survivor, but real, you know? It's like Survivor without all the crap. But again, I love watching it for the human behavior aspect. And even now I'm seeing the mentality of people. So really interesting. There's a group that is always like, this sucks, this cold sucks, not eating sucks, the universe is against us. And the way they've approached the game is to like think for themselves, not for anyone else. And I get it's a game of survival, it's a game for money, so I get that aspect. But at the same time, you're still, a soul, a human being. You can still be nice. And then the other people have, again, this is pointless information. Skip ahead if you don't want to hear it. It's just the power of positive thinking, the power of belief is what I'm trying to get through here. I watch it with my partner and, he just doesn't get it. But the other people have this mentality that the universe provides for them. Some of them are religious. Some of them have been like very into like, here's what we're grateful for every day. We're grateful for this porcupine we caught and ate. We're grateful for the fact that it wasn't that cold last night, or whatever they're grateful for. And they have like amazing things happen to them. At one point they were walking along the beach and a huge fish, they were all starving, and a huge fish was just on the shore right in front of them, kind of alive. It was still hanging on. And the first thing they all said was, thank you, universe. They thanked the universe. And then the other team is like thinking that the universe is conspiring against them. So if you feel like the universe is conspiring against you, I feel like that's the reality that will play out. If you feel like the universe is conspiring for you in your favor, which is what this card is all about, then everything will work out if you trust the universe. The other thing I was going to say is just about this show again, is last night I was watching it and they were each given a boat. So it was dropped down by a helicopter. Again, pointless information. And the tribe who thinks the universe is out to get them, their game plan was, we're going to build a raft and we're going to get out to that boat. And not only are we going to get out to our boat, but then when we get to our boat, it was one person going out. When I get to that boat, I'm going to go steal the other team's boat. And that would take the other team's chances of like finding food. It would like really, what's the word I'm looking for? It would really mess them up because they wouldn't be able to go fishing. They wouldn't be able to take a boat to go hunting. And they haven't had a boat. So that was their mentality going in, like, we're going to get to our boat and then we're going to go steal the other person's boat. And the other person's mentality was saying, I'm going to trust the current. I'm going to trust God because he's very, he believes in God and he's, very religious, more power to him, and never once did it cross his mind to steal the other team's boat. And guess who made it to their boat? Not the people whose plan was to sabotage the other team and to be selfish. Nope, they didn't. Nope. They didn't make it to their boat. And when that happened, I was like, fucking right, yeah, fuck karma. So mentality matters. Your thought processes matter, in my opinion. So don't be the person who feels like, oh, the universe is always conspiring against me. Think of the ways the universe is conspiring for you. Even if it feels like sometimes the universe isn't conspiring for you, even if bad things happen. Anyway, weird little rant there for a minute. Anyway, trust the niggle. So anyway, the universe is conspiring for you, and the sooner you believe it, the easier it'll be to trust that niggle, to follow your path, to, you know, find fulfillment. And I get so passionate when I when I talk to you guys. I'm like, yeah. Anyway, my whole point though was like just watching the two, like that whole show. I've been watching the mindsets of people, and the people with the negative mindsets and the not with good intentions, not with the intentions of the highest good, are not doing well. And that's not an accident or a coincidence. Don't waver or doubt. The universe is conspiring. Use your heart as a compass and put one foot in front of the other. I think I already read that. If you follow the invisible trail of what lights you up, you will light up the world without even trying. So if you go after the things that light you up inside, you will have that lighting effect on other people. You will exude that light. It's, you know, when you see someone and you make that comment like they were born to do this, it's because that's their soul's calling. Anyway, most people don't follow the highest call of their soul because they are waiting to see the end destination before they take the first step. This card, I have mentioned this next part in so many readings. If you take one baby step each year, within a year, you will have taken 365 steps in your dedicated direction. So rather than thinking about the big things, like, oh, I need to do this and oh, I need to do that, start putting down to earth steps. We talked about it yesterday. Every day, just a baby step, one little action towards your dream or the things you're wanting to do, one little baby step. And in 1 year, you'll have grown leaps and bounds, okay? I just have to say that. In 1 year, you'll have grown leaps and bounds. If you want to change careers, do one thing every day in dedication to that. Before you know it, in just a year from now, you will turn back and look at in awe at how far you've journeyed. And again, I'm having a nostalgic reaction to this card because I read this card when I was thinking about doing this, and I was thinking about, well, I'm a photographer, you know, I have a stable job. Why mess up a good thing? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, that old saying. And this card, where it said, if you want to change careers, do one thing every day in the step towards your new career. So I started doing that. And I have to tell you, I know that not everyone is going to have the same experience, but for me, it happened very quickly. Once I got on that path, that soul path, it all started happening very quickly. I started off, you know, just putting out a few readings on YouTube here and there. And then before I knew it, I was, you know, it's not that I like blew up or anything, but I was feeling the feeling of putting energy into that. Was filling me with so much light and joy that I actually realized that I was no longer drawn to my job of photography. And like I said, within like a few months, when I think about it, it was a year ago, almost a year ago today, that I announced that I'm going to give up photography and do this full time, almost a year ago. And now when I look back, a year ago when I was thinking about giving up photography, when I made that post on my page to quit my job, I was thinking, what if it all goes wrong? What if there's no guarantee this will work out? What if it doesn't fulfill me? What if it doesn't, what if I financially can't make it? And, you know, looking back a year later, I just remembered a year ago today is when I quit my job. I have no regrets. Take those baby steps. Trust that niggle. I have chills reading this to you. So I feel like for some of you, you have a dream that you are afraid to go after, or your ego stops you, or fear of the unknown stops you. Trust that niggle. Trust that niggle. Look at that person. In every image, they're kind of cradling their stomach. And I almost feel like here, you may feel like this. You may feel sick to your stomach. Like that person, to me, focus, looks uncomfortable following that niggle. But these images, which I believe, you know, whatever they are, your higher self, your future self, have an inner knowing in that niggle. They're no longer feeling bad about it. They look like they have an inner knowing that trusting, focus, trusting that inner niggle is going to pay off. Anyway, book upside down again. Things are not going to work out the way you were planning, but if you have a little faith and keep showing up, they will work out better than you could possibly imagine. Don't micromanage the universe. Trust your path, trust your path, and let your soul lead the way. If you knew you were supported no matter what would you do? Like if finances weren't a thing, if rejection from the public and the opinions of others wasn't a thing, if you knew that you were going to succeed, what would you do? Because I'm going to tell you, you can succeed. Anyway. Starseed, I just opened right up to it. That's magic, especially since I find it hard to find these cards in this book. So it's a miracle for you as well. Because you don't have to watch me struggle. So we have Starseed, what lights you up, and I love that I mentioned the Starseed deck, and this came out. Focus, thank you. Maybe you need to start focusing, because I don't think I've said focus so many times in my life. Starseeds are souls with a double mission, to raise their own consciousness and the consciousness of the planet. They are old souls who have incarnated elsewhere beyond this planet. Can I just get a high five for my starseeds? High five. I wish I had known I was a starseed like years and years and years ago, so that I could have felt, like it's okay because there's others like me. I just felt like an alien. And again, you could be someone who is called an old soul. Often starseeds are the ones that are people say, oh, you're such an old soul, or you're called to like old music, old movies, things like that, things of the past. Many starseeds arrive with a feeling that time is running out and that there is something they came here to do or to create or to contribute. If you pulled this card, it is to confirm that you are a starseed and you are being encouraged to answer the call, to trust that niggle, to follow what lights you up. Once awake, most starseed souls find it hard to have meaningless conversations, jobs, and relationships. Meaningless conversations, yep. Gossip, yep. Complaining, yep. Meaningless relationships that aren't going anywhere, that you're just, I hate that term, but watering a dead plant. Jobs that, like I said, once I started on my path, I had a really hard time focusing and being present in my job, my photography job, because it wasn't lighting up my soul. They innately know there is much more to life and feel there is something more and get to work. They remain restless until they step into their calling, which is to light up the world with their unique presence. I'm getting a little emotional at that line. What else is new? They remain restless until they step into their calling. And that's how it feels. There's this level of restlessness, anxiety, uncomfortableness, feeling like you don't belong, feeling like you're missing something. But once you find that soul path, it's enlightening. Starseeds are scattered all over the planet, in hospitals and schools, in slums and mansions, on stages and in edit suites, in parks and nightclubs, in taxis and theme parks. Many starseeds spend parts of their lives trying to fit in or in some sort of spiritual closet. If you are dimming your light to fit in, it's time that you stop and start embracing your unique light that you came here to share, and treat your time on Earth like a glorious vacation. I have goosebumps like all through this reading, like just chills. Anyway, it's like I can feel light beings, light workers activating. What lights you up? So maybe if you don't know what lights you up, it's time to get to work and figure out what lights you up, what brings you passion, what lights your soul up? What do you lose time doing? All right, so I am going to take the bottom of the deck. I don't remember what it is, but I'm being told to take the bottom of the deck and then we'll read from our book. We're like a book club. I love it. I've never been a part of a book club. Awakening. I couldn't imagine myself being a part of a book club. I just wouldn't work. Awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. So perhaps you are going through some type of awakening here. You know what's really interesting? I don't believe in accidents. This is really weird. I have a picture of myself like that. And that's really weird. I guess for a while, photography did light my soul up because there was one point in my life where I, was very into photography that wasn't for work, like taking photos of things outside. I did Project 365, which is like take a picture every day. And one of the pictures I took, I actually did I can't even remember what it's called, but you take it in layers. So I did it where I had like a chair underneath me and I was leaning back, and then in edit you remove the chair and you take an image of the wall behind it and then you add texture. Anyway, I have a picture of me that looks exactly like that. So that's very weird. Almost like, what would you call that? A premonition? That's weird. Seriously, it looks just like that. I think I'm wearing black and white in it too. Anyway, awakening. See, I get so chatty with you guys. Awakening. Awakening. Sorry. It's taking me a minute. Awakening. There you are. So there's different sections in this deck, and this is in I wish you guys, this is an activation card, so you're being activated. Sometimes I wish that we could all, oh my goodness, there's 3 crows on my front lawn. Interesting. So that could be symbolic of trusting your intuition. I'm seeing 3 of Swords too, so maybe there's a wound there that you're dealing with. Anyway. So this is an activation card. What I was saying is sometimes I wish we could just all hang out with all of my decks and visit and look at the decks and talk. You are going through a period of an awakening. Things are changing within you and at many levels. You are starting to remember ancient truths and discovering more and more about who you are and why you incarnated. You may find you are experiencing past life flashbacks, seeing the invisible thread that is woven through all of life, or even feeling Kundalini Shakti rise through your body from the base of your spine. The most important thing for this time is to not overthink it and stay grounded. Share your experiences with like soul people while you consciously integrate them. Journal and pay attention to your dreams. You are remembering and your soul gifts are emerging. During this transition and awakening, you may be called to devote yourself to a being of service. There are ideas, truths, concept books, and creations waiting to be birthed into this world. Stay open to receiving them. Pulling this card may be a sign that you are here to birth one of these creations into the world, or perhaps you are being called to make a shift in your life in order to be of service. Lightworker, don't think too much about it. Instead, repeat the following. Work your light activation. I surrender to my awakening. I allow the Shakti, if that's what it is, energy to rise from the base of my spine. I open myself up to the universe, using me in a way that delights my mind, body, and spirit. And I have to say, if you are someone, I don't talk about it a lot on my channel, but if you are someone who has a mission on this earth, a soul mission, a light working mission, once you start shining your light and affecting the world, the universe will take care of you. financially. And I don't talk about it a lot on here. Maybe I should. But once you start, like sometimes the universe will start giving you tower moments with your day job. If you're someone who's been feeling the niggle to be a light worker, you may be experiencing tower moments in your job right now, is what I'm hearing, to kind of put you onto the right path. You could be losing finances, losing work, conflict at work, whatever it is. But again, I'm someone who, I didn't used to believe it, but I feel like if you are doing, there's an energy in this card that you're to be of service to the world. And when you're of service to the world, guess who's your boss? Guess who provides for you? The universe, God, whatever it is that you believe in. So, although financial security and abundance shouldn't be your reason for doing anything, I've watched, so many people step into their power, step into their light, and find abundance, and not just financial abundance. So take it as it resonates. I just felt the need to say that. I have wounds when it comes to money and things like that, clearly. I'm someone who, I talked about it yesterday, that I have wounds when it comes to money, I still do it. I was going to say for the longest time, what am I talking about? I still do it. If I would go, because I needed somebody to come with me, like whenever I would go to a store with my partner and we would buy things, even if it was just things for our kids, like things that they needed, groceries, anything. The minute that we got to the checkout, I was like, I'm going to go away now. I didn't want to hear it. Like, I didn't want to hear how much it was going to be. I was so stressed out. Anyway, we're going to read the next part of this book. So, this one might be, here we go. I had to find where we were. I had to find our page. Maybe I should get a bookmark. You know what? I have tarot cards that I can use for that. What are you? I have this tarot spread thing that I'll use as a bookmark. So, this one's not very long, my friends. It's on page 33. The truth of who you are is more than you let yourself believe. I think this is a good one to read. Infinite versions of you exist. There's the person you were yesterday and the person you are today. There's the person you were 5 years ago and the person you will be in another 10. There's the person you were this morning and the person you'll be tonight. There's the person that exists within the mind of each person you know and meet and come across and love. Every single one of them has a unique image of you in their minds, informed by their own experiences and preferences and beliefs and feelings they have about their own selves. When we feel most stuck, it is often because we are trying to decipher who we really are by piecing together images we assume others have of us. What we don't realize is that there is not just one singular version of us that exists. There's our experience of ourselves, then there's the kaleidoscope of ways we are perceived by others. When we spend all of our lives trying to manage those perceptions, we become completely lost in them. What if there's a bigger truth here, one that's begging to be seen? I saw something along the lines of this today on, I think it was Instagram. You have probably had more experiences than you can remember, and they were better than you can recall. You've seen more of the world than you realize. You felt more happiness than you were generally conscious of. You've known more joy, felt more inspiration, and have succeeded more times than you are aware of when you're in your most doubtful memories. You've been more accepted than you remember, more appreciated and validated than you know. More people saw your potential than you realize. They liked you more than you believe. You were wanted more than you think, by friends, by family, by potential lovers who longed for you in ways you probably never would have imagined in the first place. When the people closest to you look at you, they see far more of your greatness than you ever would looking at yourself. You've made a bigger impact on the world than you realize. I'm just going to go to the next part. Where was I? You've made a bigger impact on the world than you realize. There are more hearts you have soothed in moments of grief, more minds you have inspired to see hope where there was once defeat. There have been more instances where one kind, selfless act cascaded a ripple effect across the entire world. Your love has touched people on the other side of the planet. You just don't know it right now. You have more going for you than you understand right now. It's easy to define ourselves by the empty spaces, the ways in which we lack, and yet those are not always gaps within us waiting to be filled, rather the simple contrast between all that we are and all we were never meant to be. When we can learn to hold space for all the coexisting truths of our lives, we can begin to understand that experience itself is both contraction and expansion. The high and low of it, the beautiful and the heartbreaking together. We are not summarized or defined by any one instance or experience. The static, singular image we think others have of us in their mind, it's usually a projection of our greatest hopes and deepest fears. We are fluid, evolving beings. We are different from one moment to the next. We spend so much time making assumptions about how we are in the world instead of actually feeling into our lived experience. We allow ourselves to become labeled and defined by what we think we've done and how others have responded to it, rather than who we are going to become and whether or not we can be at peace with it. When we show up each day as a different person, the world will start to shift to perceive us that way. We are in no way forever limited or permanently defined by who we were in the past. But you, more than anyone, are most inclined to see yourself that way. You, more than anyone, are most inclined to believe that the worst things about yourself are the most true things about you. Nobody, not one single person alive, is thinking about you more than you are thinking about yourself. They are too busy thinking about their own lives and how they're perceived and whether they're enough, and on and on. As we begin to heal, we start to recognize that our lives do not have to be defined by how we think we are seen. The truth is that to some people, you are the beauty standard. To others, you are simply overlooked. To some, you are a genius at your craft. To others, you are irrelevant. To some, you are an incredible friend. To others, you are a complete stranger. To some, you are a life partner. To others, you aren't someone they'd even date. To some, you are a teacher. To others, you are a student. To some, you are a guide. To others, you are a beginner. To some, you are a shining light. To others, you reveal their darkness. The reality is that you exist in so many different forms and images and beliefs and stories, and yet the only one that is ever really going to matter is the one you tell yourself. Allow this knowing to free you. Allow it to help you see that there is more dimension, more contrast, more nuance, more goodness within you than you have ever allowed yourself to believe. You have done more, seen more, and meant more to others than you could ever know. Close this book for a moment. Take 1 second just to breathe and look around. There is more here than you would ever realize. There is more waiting than you would ever assume. I also saw a very large number of 9s in your reading. And 9s are about, stepping into your highest self, about self-improvement, about inner work. I'm seeing hermit energy. I wonder what, in this book, what number 9 is. Have we read number 9? I'll just read it. Why certain people show up in your life. Like I said, I saw an overabundance of 9s in your reading. Many human beings are frustrated with the people they encounter in life, especially because it often feels like the same issues crop up over and over again. Like women meeting men who have no sense of responsibility or who are only after one thing, or a man who feels as if he always meets a woman who is critical and demanding, or one who wants him for his money. Now I want you to really pay attention to what I'm saying, because knowing this will help you no matter where you're at right now. You attract who you expect. Your beliefs about other people, the opposite sex especially, are constantly sending out an energy signal to your surroundings and matching you up with more of the same. As long as you believe certain things about men, the men you meet will tend to display those very characteristics, even if they have other traits. Those will be the ones drawn out to your encounters together. In order to remedy this and help you attract what you want rather than what you don't want, begin to grow aware of your beliefs of other people. And when you notice negative perceptions coming up, steer yourself in a more desirable direction. Write down a list of desirable traits in the opposite sex or your ideal partner. I hate the gender. Make a list of the personality traits of your dream lover or even friendship, it says. Write down the characteristics of your ideal friend. Deliberately train yourself to notice positive traits in others, even if, to begin with, you're practicing with characters in TV shows or novels. That's interesting. The person who watches reality TV show to study human behavior. It's because I don't understand humans. When you begin to look for the good in others, you automatically begin inviting in a whole new type of person into your life, and you'll find a new and more positive dynamic develops with existing friends and loved ones too. Enjoy. And it's on page 36, which is 9. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there, my friends. I feel like I've been talking your ear off forever. I'm sending you guys, I said I was going to use that as a bookmark. I just shut that book, didn't even put it in. So maybe next time. But yeah, I'm sending you guys lots of love and light. Thank you again for holding space for me. Thank you for sharing this space with me and being a friend. And I will talk to you soon. I love you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.